The night was heavy with storm clouds. Rain poured through the canopy of the great forest, soaking the ground into a muddy mire. In the darkness of the woods, two shadowy figures stumbled forward, clutching a bundle wrapped in rough cloth. A baby cried, his wails piercing through the sounds of thunder. The man and woman hesitated at the roots of a giant tree. Fear etched their faces, not only fear of the wild, but of something greater, something chasing them, something they could not fight. "We can't take him any further," the mother whispered, tears streaming down her face. "If we carry him, they'll find us. If we leave him here," the father clenched his jaw, his eyes burned with shame. "The forest is kinder than the men who hunt us." He set the baby down, wrapped in the mother's shawl, and placed him inside a hollow near the base of the tree. The baby cried louder, arms reaching out. The parents backed away, trembling, torn apart by guilt. With one last look, they vanished into the storm. The forest grew silent, save for the infant's cries. Somewhere deep in the undergrowth, glowing eyes opened. A pack of wolves, lean and fierce, emerged from the shadows. The leader, a silver-furred she-wolf named Vera, padded forward. The wolves circled the bundle, sniffing. Vera bent her muzzle close. The baby's cries softened, as if recognizing warmth. "He is alone," Vera growled softly to her pack. "The humans have cast him away." Her mate Bragan snarled, "Then let the forest take him. He will not live till dawn." But Vera ignored him. She nosed the baby gently, then lifted him in her jaws, carrying him as though he were one of her own cubs. From that night forward, the child belonged not to man, but to the wild. The boy grew swiftly among the wolves. He learned their sounds, their body language, their hunts. By the age of 5, he could run barefoot through thorn and stone, never stumbling. He could leap over streams, climb trees like a squirrel, and mimic the call of birds. The wolves named him Calum, meaning small flame, for his eyes shone bright and restless. Calum's education came not from books or teachers, but from the forest itself. The crows taught him warning calls. The monkeys showed him which fruits were safe to eat. The river otters played with him, teaching him to swim. Even the great brown bear, Urvak, tolerated his presence, showing him how to rip apart logs in search of grubs. Calum grew to be strong, wild, and untamed, yet always curious. He often stared at the distant mountains, wondering what lay beyond. One evening, as the wolves feasted on a deer, Calum asked Vera, "Where do I come from? Why do I not look like the others?" Vera licked his hair back from his forehead. "You are both like us and not like us, little flame. You were given to the forest, and the forest will decide your path." But not all creatures welcomed him. Some feared him, for he walked like a man, but lived like a beast. And others saw him as prey. Calum was 12 when he first encountered true terror. He had wandered farther than usual, following the scent of ripe fruit. The air grew heavy, the forest quieter than normal. Birds stopped singing, even the insects hushed. In a clearing, he saw a great mound of twisted roots, like a nest, and coiled within it lay a creature so massive, Calum thought at first it was part of the earth. A serpent. Its scales shimmered green and black, thicker than armor. Its eyes glowed like molten gold. This was Sereth, the ancient python, a legend whispered among animals, a beast older than the forest itself. Calum froze. His breath caught, but the serpent had already seen him. "Little child of wolves," the snake hissed, its voice a deep rumble that vibrated in his bones. "I have smelled you before, half man, half beast. You do not belong." Calum backed away slowly, heart pounding. He had faced boars, even fought a jackal, but nothing like this. With terrifying speed, the python lunged. Calum dove aside, rolling through the dirt as the serpent's coils smashed the ground where he had stood. He scrambled up a tree, but the snake wrapped around the trunk, shaking it. Calum grabbed a branch, leaping to another tree just as the serpent's jaws snapped shut inches from his leg. He ran through the canopy, nimble as a monkey, the snake crashing below. But Sereth was relentless. Hours passed in a deadly chase until Calum reached a gorge where a river raged far below. With no choice, Calum leapt. He plummeted into the water, the world exploding into spray. The current dragged him away, and above, the serpent coiled at the cliff's edge, its golden eyes burning with hunger. "You cannot run forever, little flame," Sereth hissed. "One day I will feed upon you." Caleb survived, but from that day on, he carried the mark of fear. The forest was no longer only his home, it was also his battlefield. Years passed. Caleb grew taller, stronger, his hair wild, his skin bronzed by sun. He had become a hunter himself, able to track, to fight, to survive. But another shadow fell over the forest. A tiger had come. Not just any tiger, but Ravakar, the scourge of the jungle. Massive, with scars across his muzzle and fangs like ivory knives. He hunted not for hunger, but for dominance. He slaughtered animals, left them uneaten, and drove whole packs from their territories. Even the wolves avoided him. One night, Ravakar invaded the wolves' den. Vera, old now, tried to defend her pack, but the tiger struck her down with a single blow. Caleb threw himself at the beast with a spear he had fashioned from stone and wood. The tiger's roar shook the forest. Their battle was savage, fangs against blade, claws against bare hands. Caleb was thrown aside, his ribs aching, but he stood again, bloodied yet unbroken. Ravakar snarled, "You are no wolf, boy. You are weak like man. The forest will belong to me." Caleb's heart burned with fury. He swore then that he would kill the tiger, no matter how long it took. For Vera, for his family, for the balance of the wild. Not long after, Caleb saw humans for the first time since his infancy. A group of hunters entered the forest carrying torches and steel. They marveled when they spotted him, bare-chested, scarred, moving like a panther. "Demon child," one whispered. "No," another said, "a wild boy. We must take him." Caleb fled, but they pursued. For the first time, he saw the faces of his own kind. He wondered who they were, kin or enemy. He longed to know, yet feared their fire and their traps. At night, he dreamed of two faces he could not remember, his parents. While wolves howled beside him, his heart was torn. Was he man or beast? The time came when the forest itself seemed to tremble. Ravakar had claimed the heart of the jungle as his throne. Animals fled. Sereth the python stirred once more, drawn by the chaos. Caleb knew he could not run any longer. He fashioned stronger weapons, a spear tipped with stone, a shield of bark, and knives of sharpened bone. He painted his chest with ash and blood. He would face them both, the serpent and the tiger. Under the full moon, the battle began. Ravakar prowled into the clearing, eyes burning. From the shadows, Sereth slithered forth, coils glistening. Caleb stood between them. The tiger roared and leapt. Caleb met him with his spear, driving it into Ravakar's shoulder. The serpent struck, coiling around them both, crushing. It was chaos. Fangs, scales, roars, blood. Caleb fought like every beast that had raised him. He bit like a wolf, climbed like a monkey, struck like a hawk. He drove his knife into the serpent's eye. He jammed his spear into the tiger's chest. The battle raged till dawn, and when the sun rose, the forest lay silent. Ravakar lay dead, his roar silenced forever. Sereth's body sprawled across the clearing, unmoving. Caleb collapsed, broken but alive. The forest whispered his name. The wolves licked his wounds. The monkeys brought fruit. The birds sang. Caleb, the boy of the forest, had become more than human, more than beast. He stood at the edge of the mountains one day, gazing toward the world of men. Perhaps one day he would walk among them, but his heart would always belong to the wild. He had been abandoned, yet the forest had raised him, and in return, he had become its protector. The boy who was once prey had become the legend of the wild.